Welcome. Today we are going to install Anaconda environment on the computer, and to download the install file you can go to Google and type in Anaconda download. So I see the first link is for Anaconda Python R distribution, and if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, right now I am on Mac OS, therefore this is the file I would be installing. So if you are in Windows or Linux, Ubuntu, these are the files you would want to install. I've already downloaded the file and installed it, so let's go to the installed file. I'll click on the Anaconda Navigator icon, and this will open the menu for Anaconda, and in that menu there is a Jupyter Notebook item that we are going to use. So that's the IDE commonly used for Python. At least I like it a lot because it has cells, and when we run the cell we can see the output of the cell right then and below the cell. So this is what we are going to use. If you click on launch, it will open a terminal, and then it will also open the Jupyter Notebook menu in a browser on a separate tab. So here, as we can see, this is Jupyter, and these are the folders listed. Now we can go ahead and create a folder on. I'm going to create a folder on the desktop. So if you click on the desktop, and then on right side if you go and click on folder, this is the untitled folder it created. Now if you go ahead and click the checkbox and click rename, let's rename it as test. So this is the folder that is now renamed as test. Now if you click on this folder, it's right now empty, so I'm going to go ahead and click on new Python 3. This will open a new empty untitled Python notebook. We can see that it is running Python 3, and on up here where it says untitled, if you click on that, we can change the name and we can rename it. So let's rename it for now as test1. Okay, so it has renamed it as test1. This the blue highlighted box that we see here, that's called a cell, and if we type a code in there and click run, it will run that particular cell. So all the code that we are going to type would be in these boxes, and when we run the code, it's really nice to see the output right below the code. Now looking at the menu up here, I'll go through the most commonly used items. This is save. So if you click save, you can see here this changes to a few seconds ago. This was saved. The next is plus sign, that adds a cell below a existing highlighted cell. So if you are here and if you click plus, it will add a cell. Now this sign is to cut and remove the cell. So if you cut it, the cell is removed. I guess if you paste that, it will paste it somewhere else, right, as you can see here. Similarly, this is copy. So if you copy this and if you paste it, it will paste it below the cell that was previously highlighted. These two arrows, those are to move a cell up or down. So this arrow will move the cell up, this will move the cell down. Stop button is to stop the kernel that is running in the background for Jupyter Notebook. And the reason when you want to use the stop button is if your cell goes in infinite loop for some reason and you want to break out of that loop, that's when you want to use the stop button. Here it will say interrupting kernel, and that it shows that it's going to stop the kernel. Now if you want to restart the kernel, then this is the button that you want to use. So if you click on this, it will give you a warning to make sure that you have saved your notebook, because if it's not saved, then all the changes made after the previous save would be lost. So assuming that we have saved the notebook, I'm going to go ahead and click restart. So here you can see restarting kernel, and then it says kernel ready in a blue box, and now we are ready to work in the notebook. Okay, let's talk about comments. In Python, hash is used for comments. So if you run this, when it's code written here, it will run as a comment, and therefore there's no output. At the same time, if you change this to Markdown, then this becomes a heading. So if you say heading 1, then this is heading. Now to run, I pressed a shortcut on this computer, which is Shift Enter. On Windows, it could be a different pair of keys that you have to press. Alternatively, you can press a run to run that particular cell. Similarly, we can add 2 hashes. So let's say 2 hashes, heading 2, and we can go ahead and add 3 hashes. So as the more number of hashes you add, the smaller the font size becomes. And here you can change this to Markdown, change all of these to Markdown, and then when you hit run, it will display the headings. Apart from that, there is another important checkpoint that I want to discuss. This is really helpful. For example, if you are writing a code, and let's say you made a couple of changes, and then you realize that something is not correct and you want to go back to the previous saved version, here you can click on revert to checkpoint, and if you click that, it will go back and revert to that checkpoint, so whenever it was saved previously. Okay, so that's it for this lecture. If you have any comments, please feel free to add them below. I'll try to respond to them. Thank you.